Let me get something out of the way just as and Kevin, I know you want to play the song, but I'm here with Matt Apodaca. Some people are going to notice, Sean, you're sweaty. You're really sweaty.
Mm-hmm.
It's symbolic because do you know what else is sweaty? Your character work, Matt. The truer and the more you can connect to your characters, the easier it is to do. To give people some background, Matt, you could talk about this. So Matt was on Comedy Bang Bang pretty recently.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how it went?
Yeah, so I went in there and I didn't know who else was going to be there. So I sort of came in with like what to borrow an improv parlance, like a half idea. It was like a little bit of an idea. It was, I thought, maybe enough to get the ball rolling. We'd come in. I came in as this guy. His name was Buck Tango, a name I came up with in the room. And the idea was that I was going to have a big announcement, and my announcement was that I was building a mech. Not realizing that I'd be speaking to people who were 40 years older than me, and at least 10 to 15 years older than me, and then 40 years older than me.
Yeah.
So just a lot of people didn't know what a mech was, and I had to sort of explain again and again that I meant like a sort of like mechanized suit, and nobody liked it from the beginning.
Is that funny hearing a mech explained if you have no context for it? I haven't listened to the episode.
You know what? I'll give Scott credit because, Kevin can attest to this as well. I'd say Scott's an aggressive editor, and he made it seem, a great editor makes you look good. Yeah. So I think it edited together well upon a listen. But I'll tell you,
mech-explanation.
Yeah, the mech-explanation, I think it went pretty well. But I also do, as someone who's in the room,
Scott would have done that. That's something Scott would have done. Come up with that phrase.
Yeah, that I sort of thought you were channeling Scott there, and I did.
I went into character, and I was Scott Anchorman in that moment.
I'll say that in the room while I was doing it, the entire time, I wish I wasn't there or had done something else.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've done this. I've done a half idea. I've gone to. I've only done Comedy Bang Bang once.
I've done it like 4 times. But
other than when I did it with Hayes. Hayes and I did it 2-3 times. But I've only done it on my own once, and I did not have a character. I maybe even switched characters about midway through, and I could speak to what it does feel like to come in with a half idea. And I think the mistake you're making when you go on that show is you go, well, I've got half an idea, and my fellow podcast guests and host will support and nurture the idea so that it may flourish and dig out the comedy.
Yes.
Certainly, what they won't do is attack every weakness in the idea very aggressively so that the idea itself, which started as a half idea, becomes just a few pieces of maybe like an eighth of an idea.
I was sort of like, okay, so I'm coming in with a little half idea, but I certainly won't be hung out to dry in any sort of way. And
not by the homies.
No, not by the homies.
The homies have my back.
The homies have my back, and I just really thought that I guess it was my ignorance that I assumed everyone on Earth knows what a mech is.
It was your ignorance, and it was a lot of mistakes that you made, and that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And it's a great lesson. So to sum it up, because you're not the best at telling this story. Matt fucked up. Matt flamed out. Big platform, big opportunity.
Yeah. Shit the bed.
Dude took a big dump on the show. And that's okay. People have done stuff like that on our show. I've probably maybe sort of done it on another show, but it was probably intentional. It was probably like a meta, like anti-comedy thing if I did.
Kaufman-esque. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it is Kaufman-esque. So what I'll say is we want to help Matt because we like this guy. We think he's got a bright future. We think all the video game stuff, the Weezer stuff, he's got a very clear and narrow brand, which is what you need. The business is fragmented.
Yeah.
Right? There's no big tent items anymore. There's no monoculture. It's these little teensy weensy slivers.
Yeah.
That we're finding. And you have carved out such a tiny the narrowest plank for yourself.
And it's good because I feel like I know a lot about these two very minute like things and not enough about anything else that could be helpful or make me smart or good at anything.
Yes, and that would be wasted space.
Yeah.
To have this extra information about these ancillary things that someone else probably already knows more about than you is a complete waste.
Don't need it. What's it going to do in there? Just rattle around until I learn something new and then fall out? Next.